hit 2 years in May. It feels like longer, right?
It's
Yeah.
So we did here. Welcome. She started transforming the place because it was really warm.
The walls were blue. The
I was like, yeah.
It was blue, black, and gray.
I love the vibe.
Yes, perfect. Hey y'all.
Hey.
Come on, Nikki. You know you got the duck under the camera.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of Strength in Silence. We are here on this International Women's History Month with a beautiful panel today. And we want to welcome you in. We run a little late today, but that's all right. We're on CP time, but we're vibing on the good energy today. So we have 4 beautiful women here to talk to today about business, challenges in business, entrepreneurship, and all of those things rolled into one as a Black and brown woman in today's patriarchal society. So y'all sit back, go get you some popcorn, get your mimosa. What is this? Get you a wine cooler. Get you a drink. Get your coffee, kick your feet back, and go ahead and kick in with us today. We're going to go from right to left. And let these ladies introduce themselves. Yes, Tawana, you are first.
Yes.
Let's get it.
Okay.
A brief introduction. Tell us your name, what you do, what are your wares. So you have your home and all those wonderful things. We need to know all your expertise, all your stuff so we can plug. Yes, all of that.
Okay, I'm Tawana McGriff. I actually own a group home for kids that's in the foster care system. I have 8 girls in my group home that's under the age of 18. Then I have a transition home for kids that age out of the foster care system, and I have 4 girls in there. And I'm also now in works of getting my thrift store done. And actually, the thrift store is done, but because I'm doing so much with the other stuff, there's been a hold on opening the thrift store, but I just hired a new program director on Friday.
Yes.
Take over that part of it. And that's basically what I do. I teach social skills to my girls that's in my group home. So we break down those walls and rebuild. Positive skills. I am also a human sex trafficker trainer for the state of Florida. And my husband and I do this together. We've been working together for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we love each other for real.
Right. Otherwise, you could not work this, right?
But we've been in this field combination together 18 years.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
We had Tawana and I connected, and Nikki as well, at the Queen's Vibe event.
Yeah.
Just met her, a week ago?
Oh, wow.
Yes. But
Yes.
again, the vibes, the energy was there, and we connected on another level because I was in the foster care system as well. And so when I started talking to her, so put a pin in that. Remember last week, for those of y'all who were here last week, we said you cannot be selfish in your trauma. And so I was speaking about my trauma a little bit, and that's how we connected. So this is why you need to speak about these things, because God, the universe, or whatever the energy is going to connect you to your village. Okay? All right, ma'am.
Well, thank you for all you do, girl. My name is Angelica. I also go by Jelly. I am a paramedical and a fine line tattoo artist. I am the owner of Ink and Artistry,
Which we are in
welcome home. For those who don't know what paramedical tattooing is, it's actually the favorite part of what I do. I do tattoo the areolas and nipples for breast cancer warriors.
Okay. Thank you. I just met her yesterday
Yes!
of our lovely Linda. So
Lovely
connections.
She does my eyebrows and much more. But I love her because she is my therapist when I come to sit in her chair.
Love you,
Let me
girl.
tell you.
It'd be more than just a brow session. But you give me therapy too, so thank you for listening.
That works.
It works both ways.
Indeed.
Hello, everybody. I'm Robin S. Bolden. I am the author of Cicadas in the South. It is my very first book that I ever wrote.
Nice.
It released on January 25th, which was the 31st anniversary of my grandmother's when she went on to the other side. I'm very proud of it. It's very new for me, this whole experience. I am just going to give you a little bit of background, but I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, sociology, and education. I was a teacher. I taught 7th grade civics.
Ooh, bless your heart.
Yeah. And I love the children and I love their parents. So I absolutely love and adore them all. It truly was a calling. I also held certification for RBT, Registered Behavior Technician, where I work with children with behavioral issues. And so my brain is very analytical, but also creative and spiritual. I am a Floridian. I am born and bred here. My family is from Altamont Springs.
Okay.
And we're from the Altamont area. I grew up in Black Bottom. My family,
Black Bottom.
Black Bottom. And my other part of my family grew up in the Granada South area. And so I am very much so a local and a Floridian and a very southern Floridian. And I take pride in being a southern Floridian. My family is so wonderful and rich in the history here. Even the cemetery where everyone is buried. My mother's side is on one side and my father's is on the other.
Oh, wow.
That's how connected it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so I enjoy history. I love history. I love learning. I love community building. My website, baisiesheart.com. It is based on community. I encourage everybody to go look at it because we're starting to get a lot of inquiries about community engagement, community building.
Nice.
And so I'm just excited to be here and be a part of this panel and to start, like what you said.
Connections.
Yes. And my book, Cicadas in the South, is a love letter to my trauma from love and falling in love and then falling, and then going through the pain of a breakup and a heartache. So it is very adult, and there is a short story at the beginning and then one little smaller one at the end. I'm currently working on my second book.
Yes.
So those are the things that I'm very, very excited for. But I am on a mission from my ancestors to help rebuild community under matriarchal society.
Yes, I love that. And I met,
And right now is the perfect time to start doing that.
Yeah.
I met Robin. I actually met today is my first time meeting you in person.
Yeah.
I stumbled over her, the book on Facebook, and I sent her a friend request. And I was like, oops, I wasn't even trying to send you a friend request, but you know what? I saw this book, so now I'm interested. So let's be friends. So we did it that way. And as I was looking through and listening to the excerpts and stuff, it just touched me. Now, the funny thing is, LA, for those of you watching, I am a hood rat as well. Altamont, Seminole County, that was my stomping ground. So that connection, and we didn't even know that until this very moment. So I find that very interesting. But again, the energy weaves itself. So
ancestors are working
Thank you.
constantly.
Indeed.
Thank y'all.
Indeed. So thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Very, very welcome.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Gwen Garrett. I am a born and bred Floridian as well. I attended Oak Ridge High School, graduate class of '89. A year after high school, I launched into my career of corrections. So I was a baby in the field, and I am still there 35 plus years later.
Hallelujah.
God, allowed me to get to the level of correctional captain. So that is my present position as of now. That is my day job work. But I am also a entrepreneur in the field of jewelry. So I do have a side business of jewelry, Pretty Passions by G. So yes, so feel free, get with me on that.
Love it.
However, I am not married. I do have an adult daughter. She is 31 years old. And it's so funny because I knew that this was something that I needed to get off of my heart because she does struggle with mental health. I didn't know how I was going to start to get that out because, again, like we were speaking of before, I know that this is information that has to be shared because it's not just me. You know what I mean? And I know that mental health, I am grateful for the fact that it has now become a big conversation as opposed to when we grew up and it was so taboo.
Right.
You know, we knew very minimal about it. We saw it around us, but we didn't know what to call it. We didn't know how to name it or anything of that sort. So I'm just grateful that we are now embracing that and knowing that taking care of your mental health is so important. And it is no longer a taboo thing, especially in the Black culture. We definitely kept that to ourselves, and we were born and bred to keep it to ourselves.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm just so grateful to where we are in 2026 that says that it's okay to not be okay.
That's right.
You know, and it's okay to seek help
Yes.
in regards to that. So I'm grateful for that. So I am like dealing with that in real time with my adult daughter. So I'm just grateful to just find a space to just start saying it out loud.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I'm just grateful to be here. This would be my first panel experience. So I'm just grateful to God to allowing me to say yes, you know, to get out of myself, get out of my own head, and to just, you know, like she said, get out of the comfort zone because, like they said, nothing great ever comes from comfort zones.
Right.
Indeed.
Right? So I am learning to get past those things and to just share things on my heart because it's not just for me. We don't go through anything for ourselves. So you learn that it is for everyone else around you who is going to, even if they have not yet, who is going to have some of those same experiences. So I'm just grateful to be here. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
for the
you all
yes.
Yes.
for coming.
We met last week also.
Yes.
Same time I met Tawana
Yes.
at the Queen's Vibe. So
Yes.
thank you, Charity,
I
for the Queen's Vibe girls. But the funny thing was, Gwen was like, "Why did you pick me?"
I totally was.
Listen,
We
ma'am.
didn't really even talk
We didn't.
at the event. I was probably a little bit more on the quiet side because I can be quiet. You know, I'm like a little bit of, what do they call that word? It's a ambivert.
Ambivert.
Exactly.
Ambivert.
I'm totally situational with regard to talking or just being like extroverted with speaking. So I'm like, what is she?
And she
I
said
didn't talk
that.
very much, you know.
Story to
However,
tell.
Exactly.
However, again, the energy speaks, so you don't have to say anything. And I said this to you. You weren't talking, but I still paid attention to you.
Wow.
Just because and a lot of people are like, oh, the loudest person in the room is not the smartest and they're not paying attention. I'm very, very, very focused on those that don't speak. But when you did speak, you had something to say. So then when I sent out those friend requests and I started trolling through y'all's pages, because I used to, I used to be a person that found people that didn't want to be found. So as I started filtering through the page, I said, I knew she had something to say. And so the other connection is, for those of y'all that know, I am a felon. Been trying to get my rights back since 1994 for that little petty charge that I have. They just don't want me to have a gun. I don't understand why. Anywho, or get my rights back. But I'm a felon. I was in the system here and there. I stopped, thank God, before I got a prison number. But, you know, surviving in the street, no parents. I was here in this state by myself. I sold drugs instead of selling my body. I did it. I've forgiven myself for it and moved on. But again, connections, all of these systems in some form or fashion, I've matriculated through, and it brought me right back full circle. And to sit here with them and to be able to vibe off of their energy and their connections, triangulating and bringing us all right back into the same place when the time is right. I think that's a beautiful thing. Would you agree? All right. Let's get into it. Y'all comfortable yet?
Yeah.
I told you I was gonna make it easy for you.
Mimosa.
So first thing we want to talk about is life experiences and journeys, right? We sent y'all some questions. May not ask you not one of them. We might ask you all of them. I'm just kidding. But your life experiences, what, and anybody can answer in whatever fashion you like, but what got you into, what was the impetus to get you into your current business or your current passion project?
Was there a life experience that changed you, your directory, and what made you get here today?
Well, I'll start. My life experience, I think, I didn't think I talked about it. I think I did say something about my life experience at the beginning. So I grew up in a home that was full of domestic violence. Didn't really know the effect it had on me until I probably hit my teen years. Because all I did was fight. Like I ain't had no understanding. But my mom married an alcoholic. My mom used to be an alcoholic. My mom got hit by a car. She was in a coma for 2 months. Long story. So that's how she ended up getting off of alcohol. When she came out of the coma, she went into Alcoholics Anonymous. I think I have an event coming up too on Saturday. If any of you ladies want to come, just let me know. And the reason I was saying that, I spoke some of it last year at my event. And the doctor said that my mom was never supposed to walk again. She got hit by 2 cars. I guess one car hit her that she was going up and coming back down. Another car hit her. So that's how she actually stopped drinking and all this stuff. However, she married my stepdad at the time. He was also an alcoholic. Every Friday, they would get into a fight. Every Friday. And I often tell my girls that I work with now, I can't imagine as that 10-year-old little girl sitting in the classroom. My anxiety probably was crazy. I didn't know it was crazy at the time because I didn't know that type of situation. Because sometimes dysfunction begins to look functional.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
When you're in it so long, you don't know the difference.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the thing was, my mom thing was, if he come in here drunk tonight, when mama grab a pan, y'all go and grab a pan. And I had I have 3 sisters. My baby sister, she was a baby at the time. So my 2 other sisters, that's what we did. And my mom was swinging, we were swinging too. I remember time we would have to go and hide under the house, crawl under the house at midnight. I remember a time my sister got hit side the head with a brick. So I think that's why I'm in the field that I'm in now.
Yes, ma'am.
You couldn't have told me when I was in my 20s that I was coming back to help foster kids. Like
Right.
nobody could have told me that I was going to be doing this work. And now I've been doing this like 17, 18 years. And the success stories that we have is just I got kids with master's degrees. I have kids with doctorate degrees. So I think that shaped me. I'm there for I call them my girls. They're not my girls, but I call them my
They are
girls.
girls.
Yeah.
And I've
Embrace that.
probably had over 200 kids come through us in the last 15 years, but I'm that person that I wanted
Yes.
when I was
Yeah.
that age. Like I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone to motivate me. I too got in trouble at the age of 15. I was stealing cars every week. Every week I was in a stolen car. I tried to run this girl over in a stolen car, running from the police, running away from home. And the running away from home probably came from, the environment at home. So that's how my stuff started. And I just knew, like when I began to have kids, my kids have never experienced
Yes.
the stuff that I went through. I made it my purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
My kids will not experience. My son is now, he'll be 30 years old in July. My son is saw me with 2 people, 2 guys. My husband, who I've been married to for 20 years, and his dad. So there's a way I talk to my kids
Yes.
that my dad got, and I saw it in both my dad too. My dad and my stepmom has been married over 40 years, but that home was full of domestic violence and drugs.
Mhm.
And drugs. So I saw my dad, even though my dad was in my life, always in my life, and I still feel like there were situations I got in, and I called my daddy, like my daddy was right there, like, you're not gonna put your hands on my daughter. So I did have that support from my dad, but not it wasn't the support I needed. It wasn't that positive, healthy support,
Right.
you know, that we were missing. So I saw it on both sides. And even the way the language that was used in the home.
Mhm.
You couldn't talk to my kids any kind of way. My sisters, my family, everybody used to be like, Tawana, you know she crazy. You better not cuss at her. Don't cuss at my kids. And I think the reason why I didn't want you to use inappropriate language towards my children is because I endured that
Yes,
growing up.
ma'am.
Like, you don't know how that makes a child feel
Yeah.
when you use those type of words. So even that to this day, like even with my girls, my foster daughters, don't talk to my foster daughters. Their case managers can't come in there talking to them anyway.
Right.
Their GALs can't come in there talking to them.
That's
My
right.
employees, you better not talk to them any kind of way.
right.
I train you in a certain type of way to de-escalate, and that's what you use here at the Little Shy House.
Yes.
We de-escalate. We don't escalate.
Right.
And then we give rationales to why. Oh, you need to know you didn't clean your room correctly. Go back and clean your room. It's not I grew up in a black home. My mama, go clean your room. I said, this my house.
That's
I
it. Yes.
cause to be the boss in here.
All of that.
Okay, the reason why you need to clean your room, because when you clean your room, it shows first you follow the instructions. It keeps roaches out. It keeps ants out. And I'm prepping you for the future. So I'm giving them a reason why we do this stuff. So, and I could go on and on, but that's what I do. That's what I've been doing for a long time. It took a lot. I went through therapy.
Oh, yes.
I went through therapy by accident. Before even getting in this field, I worked at Wells Fargo Bank, and I worked there for like 6 years. And the HR representative, she was a black lady. I used to get migraines a lot, and she came and she was like, Tawana, you know, you can get FMLA for migraines, which I had no idea. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah, you can get, like, legally, you can get 6 days off a month. And she literally, I think God just placed her in my life, because she literally showed me how to do the paperwork, take it to my doctor to make sure it was signed correctly, and all that. So I was able to take FMLA at least I took a leave. And I found out I could take a leave. I can take off 3 months and still get paid. And she was like, yeah, so what happened? But she said the flip side is you gotta go to a therapist.
Yes.
I was like, well, that ain't too bad. You know, I probably need to go to a therapist.
Right.
Everything that I've been through, I probably need to go to a therapist. So that's actually, I was 31 at the time. So that's actually how I got into therapy.
Wow.
And once I found out how important therapy is and how important it was, and some of the things that I was experiencing, why I was experiencing, and then we problem solved with each other. So she gave me tools that I can actually use. I was like, oh, this is a good thing.
Yes.
So later on, now I've become a big component of therapy. Like, I'm all about therapy.
Yes.
I bring therapists to the forefront. Brittany Noel, Charlotte McCullough, those are some big heavy hitters at my event. Especially Brittany is humongous. She's been on so many different Sherry Shepherd shows. She's been on I don't know, Savannah James pod show. She's been on Nick Cannon show. So she's Charlotte, she's local here. I don't know if y'all know Charlotte, but she's on. Me and her actually, that's how I met Gwen. We went to Charlotte's event last year. It was a therapeutic event. So I'm a big component of therapy because too, I grew up in a black home where therapy is stupid. Therapy don't work.
Right.
That's
Why you
for
telling
the
the people your business?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need it. You
You
are
don't,
fine.
you don't need therapy. You're fine.
Go pray.
Pray it away.
Oh,
Pray
pray
it
it
away.
Yeah.
Girl,
Go to church.
go to church. That's just a demon. So,
Pray it out.
No shade, right? Because we're faith-based folks,
We
we're
are.
spiritual folks. However, you can pray, right? But there are some things that God puts people in place to be able to provide you assistance.
Absolutely.
You sometimes need to talk to somebody else
Yes,
other
you
than
do.
your friends who are in the same mindset as you,
Yes.
other than your mom and daddy who helped you
who's still
create the
damaged.
situation. Okay?
Yes.
You need to talk to somebody sometimes that have
Yes.
those letters behind their name. Okay?
Yes.
Sorry, just make sure y'all know I'm gonna point it out.
So that's how I started And they said, oh, and my husband is a retired police officer, so he came from like the areas, Mercy Drive, Pine Hills. Well, he always worked with the youth, always worked with the youth, and he actually started in this field before me. So I joined him in the cause, and we just kept going.
Look at that.
Awesome.
A police officer as a husband, correction. See, you see this thread? Boy, I love it.
Yeah.
Who else wants to answer that question?
I'd like to answer the
Sure.
question. My passion project is literacy
Mm.
within all communities. I will say that my parents worked very hard. Now, their love story is why I love love. My mother was 5, my daddy was 7. They met at the first black school in Altamont, Rosenwald. Yeah.
Okay.
And they met, fell in love, and the community was just very large. Both sides of my families are very large. But literacy is very, very important. I never understood why my ancestors or my spirits were so strict on me writing everything down.
Mm.
I just am obedient. I just did it. And when you have that, you know, when you're in church and they're like, when you know and you're knower.
Yes.
When you know in your spirit, man. And then that gets translated over into that's your grandma's voice, that's your auntie's voice, that's your granddaddy's voice. And for me, my father is he passed away, so he's here, but and then that's my daddy, you know what I mean? So you start hearing all those things as you move forward into like spirituality. And I managed to take, literacy in our home was really important. Reading was important.
Yes.
And I am I believe it. If you could read it, you can really do anything. You can read. Unfortunately, now in the school system, which is one of the reasons why I left, but the literacy, they don't focus on actually reading and understanding. It's you get in a program and you've got a reading teacher, not to knock reading teachers at all. I had to go through all those modules as well. But they get in there, they do the thing, and then they pass. Well, I worked with those Pine Hills, Rosemont kids. I worked with those children. So it was one of those things where I just said, you know what, I'm going to take a different approach, and people aren't going to like it very much, but I'm going to prove people wrong about Black and brown and mixed and white kids who live in, lower socioeconomic.
Yes.
I'm going to prove it wrong.
Yes.
And I did it. I did it with the backing of my ancestors, with me remembering what my parents did. And it was always if everybody is going down this path, you go that way. And it's not popular, and it's not, it's frowned upon. So when I got to education and was a teacher, I sat there and I watched children who could have a whole full-on conversation with me. And it's like, read this. And it was difficult. And then I said, So I used the school system to my advantage. I learned about decoding. I learned about all of the different ways to teach this to children who talk like me, right? So right now, my voice is very professional. I'm gonna need you to sit down in that chair, open that book up.
There we go.
Turn to page 44. Paragraph 9.
9. Okay.
Okay, let's read it. Ready? I said, now spell it, Aura, A-C-E. So it was one of those things where you take it and you code switch and you switch it up so that they go, okay, well, she talked like my mom and my auntie now. And I'm like, yeah, but then when somebody else walked in, I could switch it up. But it was also modeling for them exactly the way that I'm speaking now, that you could be Black, you could be nerd, you could be a blurred, as we say, and you can like anime, you can like reading, you can love all of these things and still be Black, and you can still maneuver through your community, you can maneuver in a business setting, you can maneuver in all these different ways. You're not this person and this, when someone compartmentalizes you, bust out of that box and be like, blah, I'm here. I can function here, I can function here, and I can function here. But it's the center of who I am. And if you learn how to read, you can do anything. And I managed to convince children that if they learn how to read, they could do anything.
And that's a fact.
To the
Yeah.
point where if you have children and you're in Orange County or Seminole County, you've got your reading levels, right?
Mhm.
I took level 1 and level 2 and level 3 readers. They have to do a state EOC test,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
For civics.
Yes.
It's a heavy literacy test. It's a heavy reading test. So I took what I learned in the reading with all of that, and I took it into my classrooms. They could say, Miss Bona, we reading today. Yes, we reading today.
Yes. Yes.
This is how we gonna read, and this is how you gonna annotate this paragraph, and this is how we gonna do all this stuff related to civics. And when the scores were coming out, my first year I didn't do as well, but the second year I was like, I'm committed, and it's gonna be something because these kids are gonna feel real good about it. Took level 1, 2, and 3 readers. How you get a 4 and 5 on the civics literacy test? Do you really need reading? And they said, well, then we got to go back now and look at those kids now that are in reading classes, because if they got 4s and 5, high 3s, 4s and 5s on this test, maybe they could read. No, hell yeah, they could read.
Absolutely.
And so once they took that, and I told my students, I was like, what you did here for me, now go do that out there.
Yeah. They just needed a translator.
They just needed it.
That's
And
it.
modeling for children, and then getting in those meetings with those parents for discipline, for when the parent was like, I want to meet you because why you their favorite teacher? Why they say Miss Bowden like coffee mugs, we need to get that coffee mug. Miss Bowden like this, I want to meet that person. And I'm like, come on up to the school, let's meet. But it's also getting in those meetings and watching those parents struggle because of the bigger words, or because of this and because of that. And I walked out of that meeting pissed, and they were like, Bowden, you went up, da da da. And I'm like, because and I knew that it was my ancestors nudging me and nudging me and nudging me. And they were like, you have got to do this part. I'm not saying that all parents can't read. And I'm not saying that the literacy rates are so detrimental, but I would love for a mom or a dad to go into that meeting and be able to read all these documents and read all through that and say, and I got questions for myself and for y'all, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and to be able to advocate for their children and then advocate for themselves, pick up a book and start writing. So with me, my passion project is literacy in the community and going, okay, we've got this going on, we've got that going on, and let's get together, let's have writing workshops. Let's do oral storytelling, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the histories. Let's talk about this experience. Let's talk about that, so that when we start to model that, more moms and dads living in the Rosemont Pine Hills place, living in Mercy Drive area, living in the wherever the lower socioeconomic places are, they're like, hold up, wait, these women look like me. You know, and then for the boys and the men, hold on, let me trust this woman because this woman is doing. That is where it comes from. So it's not a sit on a high horse and sit on a high pedestal. It's like, you don't understand where I started from. I had a strong foundation. I'm responsible for making sure that my mother, my father, and my grandmothers and my uncles, who all made sure we were sitting down reading the Bible. Okay, King James Version. That's a real skill to be able to make sure that happens. So what my ancestors did with me was they said, everything that you are feeling in love, because I love love. And my ex told me, he's like, I told my mom, Robin is love. And I was like, yeah, I am, because I love love just in general, not even romantic. But whenever things would happen in my life, I go to my notes app and I type it down and I put it in words. I write it down in a poem. Editing my book was very emotional because of the trauma of it and like reliving what all of those different things meant, the good times, the bad times. But I'm like, what happens if there is a mom who's working 3 jobs? She's working 3 jobs. And she is like, I don't know where to put all of this.
Right.
Open your notes app and write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect.
That's
I
right.
had an editor tell me, this word is not that word. And I said, do you know about poetry? No. Do you know about wordplay? And
Right.
she said, no. And I said, so if I'm saying this word is this word or that word is this word, keep in mind the whole premise of this entire book. So what if that mom who's working 3 jobs is like, I just got all this built up anger and energy. And I'm just saying that literacy and writing things down is just one avenue,
It
right?
is.
Maybe it's another way of doing things, but
Yeah.
let's say she was a writer or she wants to write it down. Open up your notes app and just start writing it down.
Yeah.
It's how you interpret those feelings and then you put it into words. And then my ancestors said, in order for you to heal from this heartbreak that we allowed you to go through,
Mhm.
you got to release it.
Yes.
And releasing it was terrible. But when I got it, and when certain people read it, we do bibliomancy on my TikTok every now and then. And so we would go through and people be like, oh my God, Robin, you went through that? I'm like, yeah, but what did that poem mean to you? You know what I mean? Like, how did that make you feel?
Mhm.
Like, do you feel like you could also go ahead in your notes app and write things down, or open up a journal, or start your own family's grimoire and start writing down your workings, like writing it down. What is it that write the vision, make it plain?
Yes.
You can heal a lot in that way. And this
Just
is
by
a way,
writing.
that's why literacy, writing things down, that's my passion, because there are other people out there that can do it, but it also might just kind of be a little bit of a catalyst to what you're good at, to where you're comfortable with expressing your feelings and where you come from. So
With that said, I don't mean to cut you off,
no,
but
you're fine.
I can relate a lot to you. I mean, I can relate to both of you women, but to you especially, because growing up in the system, I was a trouble kid. I had a lot. Family trauma let's begin, because I remember starting therapy, and my stepmom says, but you don't need therapy. You know, you were great. Like, we showed you great things. No, you didn't.
It was about them.
Yeah.
And it
You
was
didn't
about
show
them.
me healthy relationships.
Exactly.
Like, right, and that's something I had to learn, and something I had to go through, and I've been through a lot. You know, being a kid, my kid's father's 7 years older than me. I was 14 when we got together. Like, that is a lot, you know, stealing cars. Like, I can get in a car in 2.3 seconds and joyride, and
Okay.
let's go sell that car and make some money. Look, I was good, right? And life's lessons taught you a lot, but I didn't realize till like having kids and then going through therapy and then college, to where I'm dyslexic.
Mhm.
So that plays a lot in your everyday life and forming. So I definitely can relate, and teaching my kids. My kids are great. I did teach my kids because I have dyslexia,
Right.
but I didn't learn until I was in college that. And I wish there's more teachers out there like you to say, you know what, I see where you're struggling. And they would have noticed it when I was a kid. I probably would have gotten a whole lot ahead. So, you know, and I'm praised my kids, thank God I didn't teach them, and they're great advocate readers and writers, but I definitely didn't get that. Yeah. So
You wanna
I
hear
praise you
something
for that.
funny? And you know, we've all talked about this, but it's funny that you said you had a background or a foundation of reading. I would tell my mother I was bored. You know what she would tell me to do? Go get the dictionary, sit down at the table, start at the beginning. I want you to start on that first page. I want you to write every one of those words, every one of the definitions, and I want you to use it in a sentence. Okay. Also, you're bored? You read all those books. I need you to write me a book report. So I taught that to my children, right? And my children, when they went to school, it was, so I'm not from here originally, but I'm from here. I've been here since 81.
You're from here.
Exactly. 86, I'm sorry. First year Greenwood Lakes was built. We were the first 8th grade graduating class. But I taught it to my children too. And so I got, why you talk white? Why you sound like a white girl? Okay, so let me just tell you, that is my pet peeve.
White people don't own how you talk.
Ooh.
I speak, I paid attention, I read the books, I can facilitate through these languages. Now here's another funny thing, which is crazy. Somebody told me I was fake or a chameleon at one time, because if I go to Jamaica and I'm over in Jamaica talking, all of a sudden here comes a Jamaican accent, and I promise on everything I love, it didn't come from me. When I was in DR, I do speak a little bit of Spanish, but baby, once I hit the mami juanas, all of it came out, and I was having full-on fluent conversation in Spanish in DR with their accent. It didn't come from me. So there's something in me, in my ancestral line, that's linguistics. That just, it's not a It's not being fake or phony, but it is a plug-in.
Yeah.
You know, we have plugins for Outlook, plug-in to make this work better or make that work better, to conform it to the environment you're in. And I think that is a tool, but I didn't realize it at first. So I would shrink me, right? And I wouldn't speak a certain way. And I learned to say faux and over there and churn. And my father used to say, even though he didn't raise me because he had some critiques, baby. But we get on the phone. He's from Tennessee now. And we get on the phone and he'd be like, stop talking like them people before you start to sound like that for real. But baby, I also have a master's degree. I can speak the Queen's English. I can speak. It's code switching, but I stopped doing that. I stopped code switching. I'm just going to be who I am. And when I'm in the space, the energy is going to dictate the conversation. And so if it makes you more comfortable that I speak in Ebonics, then that's what I do. If it makes it more comfortable that you get a conversation out of me in Spanish with some Spanglish thrown in because my Puerto Rican friends taught me in high school how to speak. They didn't speak English for me, honey. I had to catch up, right? So all of these things and all of these life experiences and all of these things that I've been through and places that I've been are the sum total of who I am. So what really gets me is when people say, I am not my ancestors. I do not like that.
I'm an ancestors girl.
I am.
And I tell you,
I am the sum total of my ancestors. I am everything my ancestors prayed for, dreamed for, and hoped for. And we need to stand on that because the idea is our ancestors did not fight back. That is the biggest lie ever told. They don't want you to know that. And they fought in so many different ways. Language was one of them. These was one of them, right? We developed different mechanisms to be able to communicate with each other. And so that is our right. That is our birthright. That is our inheritance. Dance, music. So incorporating all of these things and putting that back into our children is what's key. Because if you want to change the world, you tap into the children.
It's the children.
And so I'm very grateful for all that you all are doing in one way or another. Your artistry, your home that you have, the literacy project, even in the corrections and the jewelry. Because guess what? Sometimes some of us were so beaten down and so downtrodden that maybe just a little pretty would make me feel better.
Absolutely.
A tattoo too, because listen, I'm still we still working on the next tattoo, but still it opens up your first of all community, right? There's nothing like having your community. I didn't realize till what I'm going through right now with my health, how big and how strong I have a community. And that was a lot for me to like realize and take in. You know, I did code switch too at work. I work in the corporate world, but I stopped that too. I stopped that. I was like, I am who I am. Y'all don't like it. Y'all didn't hire me for what I know. I stopped talking Spanish while I was at the workplace for a minute. Because you work in the corporate world, they don't want to hear none of that. Now I'm fluid and I'll say it, and one lady will look at me like, what should I just say? I was like, oh, it was something in Spanish you don't need to know. If you need to know, I'll tell you. Right. Like, I wasn't talking to you. Yeah. I'm politely. Blunt. I'm blunt. And that's it.
I had a friend who was really funny, and I always say it. It cracks me up. He was, we were talking to a couple of people, and they were like, Robin is explaining the ancestral altar and connecting with your ancestors. And she's doing it very professional now. He said, but just so you know, that's a nigga. And I said, surely. Really. And there would be times where we would talk to other people about spiritual things that they needed to do, root working, just certain things that you needed to do. And there would be times when I would be talking to a person about something, and then this person comes in and I'm like, what happened with your daddy yesterday? Girl, let me tell you. And then what happened? And then, okay, so over here. And then so what needs to happen is, for real? Yeah. And I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? And it's funny because even like how I cuss in Spanish was so ingrained in me because I learned Puerto Rican Spanish. So when I met more of my Puerto Rican friends, I was like, hola, mi nombre es Robin. They were like, okay, that's good. And I was like, I cuss real good in Spanish. Real good. And then so I told them, they were like, whoa, but you do those types of things. But I love it. Because for me, I love being like this on the phone. I love it because then you see a 5 foot, thick, chunky, locked, glasses wearing, tattoo person walk in the room, and then they're like, oh, did I just fuck up how you just thought?
Yes,
That was real
I did
good.
that for a long
That's
time.
yes.
My
Yeah.
last name, I'm a mixed breed. My last name is Italian. It's Italian last name. So I've never changed my last name because I was just like, you get caught like these names that are given to you.
Right.
Like they're gonna hold you back from this corporate world that I thought like I'm gonna fit in and I'm gonna be good. Like, I never look having my red cut. I went into work when I changed my hair red. They looked at me like, and I was like, yeah, I like it, thank you.
Right.
I was not like right because I'm blonde hair. I've gone into work with braids and I still get this look like, look,
Like you're a culture vulture.
I'm almost 50 years old. I don't got time for it.
Period.
I work
Be
good.
true to
That's why you
yourself.
pay me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm educated.
Because
What
to
I
put-
look like,
to
there
put
should not matter.
women, especially women, in a box
Yes.
and say, okay, so you're a black woman, so you're angry. Yep. That's ingrained in me.
Mhm.
Number one, and you're gonna want me to be angry.
Yep.
Because you're going to want me to access a part of myself in order to create dominion over a situation. And I'm going to take full on credit for it and I'm going to own it
And advocacy.
and advocate from that place. I am also, and in that box, they put you in that box, then they move over to the next woman in that race. Come on back to my box now. Because what happens is that I'm a homemaker. I am a mother. I am a lover. I am a wife. I am a girlfriend. I am all of these things that when we bust out of that box, it fucks people up mentally.
It does.
And
It does.
it messes you up because then they're like, wait a minute. Good. Because what's about to happen, I do believe in our country, especially moving away from more and moving more into a matriarchal society,
Yes.
moving more into women driving this and other women supporting other women. And it's not I'm going to do this and I'm going to gatekeep it. No. Let me tell you where I get my hair done. Let me tell you where I get my braids done. Let me give you the name
The
of my
village.
friend who just made this power bracelet for me.
Yes.
Let me tell you where this is at. Let me build you up because that also fucks them up mentally
It
too.
does.
Because
Unity.
the division
Yes.
of women has been so successful
Yes.
with the different types of feminism that it's like, So I started saying things like it's matriarchal.
Mhm.
We're all mothers, whether you birthed one or not.
Mhm.
Because if one came to you and said, hey, I need it, even as an adult, older than you, I need you, you're going to take them in. That's who we are.
Nurturers.
And so putting different women in different boxes is a wonderful thing. And I love it because I love that my life has been, no, that's not who she is. And, you deceived me, did I? Or did your small-minded
Mhm.
way
That
of
part.
thinking deceive you?
Mm.
To your point, real quick, I'm sorry. To your point, my resume used to say K. Nicole Johnson because my first name is Keisha. Every hood song got a Keisha in it. Keisha, one of those, right? And I walked in one day and I had a phone conference, right? Walked in, and when this white man saw this black woman in front of him and he went to shake my hand, I said, hi, I'm Keisha. When I tell you beat red, he was like, do you go by Keisha or do you go by Nicole? I said, actually, Keisha is my name. That is what I go by. However, I de-ethnicize my resume because I know that some people that would have just seen the name Keisha would have tossed my resume.
Mhm.
He was one of them.
Yeah.
He was one of them. And to this day, I work with him in a different department. To this day, he still has to see me as a leader. He didn't hire me as just a worker, more or less than a leader. And so now I'm on his level. So I know that kicks him in the face every day. But my point being, I talked to you on the phone and you still didn't know I was what you didn't approve of. Right? I didn't even wear braids or anything in my hair in the corporate environment, in the legal field where I work for a long time because I thought it would hold me back from trying to get where I was going. To that point, and I've talked about this a lot, but y'all don't know this. I code switched so hard, I lost myself. I had a nervous breakdown. I ended up on medication for a year, not just therapy. I went on leave, right? And had to find myself. And these ladies helped me get back to me just by being there for them and being there with them, right? And so when I came back, let me back up. I stopped code switching. I said, I'm just going to be who I am. And that was too much for him. So then I became intimidating.
Yeah.
Then my body language was intimidating. Then I was unable to collaborate. Then I was not able to work and get along with my peers, my subordinates, nor those above me. Let them tell it. Meanwhile, I'm doing all the projects and they're coming to me, stealing my intellectual property and putting it out like it was theirs behind the scenes, right? Okay. There was so much pressure on me. I couldn't do my job really, but I still did it. So that's what led to the nervous breakdown. That's what led to the medication. That's what led to a point of peace because I got to the bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
And baby, when I got to the bottom of that pool and kicked back up, I said, fuck that.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
going to be who I am.
Yep.
And guess what?
Yep.
When I decided to embrace Keisha Nicole,
Yes.
y'all didn't know that because I was in the street. Y'all didn't even know all my damn names. Y'all be telling shit, okay? But when I decided to be unapologetically Keisha Nicole with my braids every other week, with my afro, baby, I went into meetings full on fucking afro. Okay, you understand? 1973, baby. And guess what? Today, the energy has shifted. Now it's, Keisha, we got you on this project. Can we put you on this project? Oh my God, why weren't you a part of this before? Oh my God, I see. They were suppressing you. They were afraid of you. They were intimidated by you. And these are white women, right? Y'all knew who the fuck I was.
The whole time.
The problem was, and this is what got me, they told me, you need to shrink yourself because your personality makes other people feel small. You know what I said? Well, maybe they need to go to therapy like I did.
There we go.
I am not going to be responsible for other people's insecurities.
Right.
Baby, I did the work to be here. And I'm saying this because somebody out there needs to hear this today. You didn't go to church, but you're getting it right now. Stand up on your 10 toes and be who the fuck you were created to be. And I'm saying it just like that.
Don't hold back.
As a child of God. Okay, as a culmination of my ancestors. Stop letting these people define who you are.
And don't hold that tool. Don't hold that though, not even tool, but don't hold the education, the smartness, the tools to help a next woman or person move forward.
Right.
I hate that. And that happens
The
a lot in
knowledge.
corporate. Yeah, that knowledge. It happens a lot in corporate America. And I'll tell you now, this is one particular person who just does it.
Does she look like you?
No. She like nothing. I'll train somebody. I have no people. And they sit by me. They get trained all the time. I'll walk you through it. But holding it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get forward. If you meant to move forward and you want to cut throat to move forward, that's on you. But every time you climb up, you're going to have to climb right back down.
You'll fall.
So you're going to see me coming back down. Right? So I just don't do that. I'm a type of person that I need, you know the knowledge, you have the tools, help me. Help me move forward. Because I want to help you move forward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
Because
corporate America is.
Yeah,
cutthroat.
When I was
Yes.
at Wells Fargo, baby, I got 3 of them fired, and they had been there 20 years. Don't play with me.
Yeah.
It's even worse the people
Don't play
that
with
look
me.
like you.
No,
that
it ain't
have
look like me.
information. So I had
These
some
ones
that
that
looked like me.
They was
that did-
intimidated by me.
Exactly.
And then I got promoted 3 times when I was at Wells Fargo. One time I got promoted and I was on vacation.
Hello.
I came back.
Oh, yes.
And they said I was promoted. And I said, I don't want to go to that team.
Did nobody
I
ask you?
had heard so much negative stuff about this lady. And they said, well, before you go on the team, the upper management want to have a meeting with me. So I said, well, did y'all have meetings with all the other people? And I got in the conference room and they were saying, well, you know, we promoted you. I said, yeah, I heard, but I don't want to go to that team. Me and that lady gonna have problems. And they said, well, that's what we wanted to talk to you about. You know, she's very opinionated and we know you're very vocal with how you feel. I said, well, I'm only vocal when people doing me wrong.
Hello.
I said, but if y'all want me to go to her team, that's fine. I went to her team and I'm not lying.
You shook it.
The second week on this lady team, she yelled at me.
Oh,
In front
no.
of everybody.
Oh no.
She yelled at me. And I said, and I'm the type of person, if I hear something about you, like if I don't know you and I don't know you, I don't go off of what number, because that may be the
Exactly.
interaction
Exactly.
you had with them.
Exactly.
That's not the interaction I had with them. So I'm not
Absolutely.
gonna go off of what you say. I like to meet people for myself, and
Yes,
then I come
ma'am.
up with my own opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I had heard all this negative stuff, but she had the number one team in the country.
Mm.
She had the number one team, so she was generating a lot of money for Wells Fargo. So I said, okay, I'll go to her team. I'll do what I do, no problem. But that second week, she yelled at me. I can't remember what she yelled at me for, and I said, y'all remember I hadn't been through therapy yet. I got there. And I took my things down. I said, apparently you don't know me, but let me reintroduce myself.
Mm.
I'm Tawana McGriff.
Mm.
I said, now, what I tried to do is take you at first introduction. I had already heard a lot of negative stuff about you.
Mm.
I said, but what you not gonna do, if you yell at me again on this floor, it's gonna be a situation in Wells Fargo. I promise you that. And this how I knew the team was intimidated. These are grown people. I'm talking about some people way older than me.
Mm-hmm.
They did just like this and turned at their desk and turned the opposite way. And I was kind of looking like, y'all, they really scared. Like they really are scared of her. Yeah. So she came back and she said, can I please speak to you in the office?
Oh, now you want to speak to me?
I said, sure, we can speak. Yeah. So we goes into the office and I said, what you need to speak about? And she said, well, first, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I said, no, there's not a we.
There's a
You
got off on the wrong foot. I said, but that's not what we're going to do. I said, I'm going to show you the same amount of respect that you show me. That's who I am. And she did end up and apologize, but I ended up getting her fired. She had been at Wells Fargo for 18 years because it was this Haitian guy. And the stuff that she said to him was very inappropriate. And you got to remember, me and the HR was like this. And what, from my understanding was, she said every time we tried to get her fired, and we asked the people to come, they was afraid. Nobody wanted to say nothing. I said, well, you got the right one on the team now. She said, what I need you to do is start documenting every time she does something wrong. Every time. So I just started documenting. We ended up moving floors and everything. And then I remember one time I said, listen, this lady had these people thinking that overtime was mandatory. Because you got to remember, we had portfolios and goals we had to reach by the end of the month. If you didn't reach them by the end of the month, you could easily get terminated. That's somebody's job. I said, listen, when she sends that overtime sheet today, I said, don't nobody sign it. And it was like, but these are grown people. I'm talking about older than I said, nobody signs it today. So she gave it to me. I took it down to everybody, and I said, here, I'll tell y'all now, here's Nancy. And Nancy go to sleep. Oh my God! She said, nobody signed up this week. No. I said, we're not signing up for overtime anymore. You're not going to get paid off of our pockets any longer. Mm-hmm. And she slammed it down. Long story short, they had already told me, Barbara, like 2 months ago, after doing all the final investigations, not only did they demoted her. They fired her head boss because all the complaints was going to him. Mm-hmm. And he didn't do anything about it. So the day she got demoted, they had already told me she was getting demoted. I walked into the team. I said, well, y'all, there's some things happening today. It was like, what? I said, y'all will see. She came in. I saw her coming. You could tell she had been crying after she came out of their office. She was shaking and actually had to call the ambulance. I said, Miss Nancy, you okay down there? You okay? And they ended up calling the ambulance. They actually transported her out. But I told the team, oh, y'all, she's being demoted. And they was like, what? So the name around the office was Tawana McGriff, like Moses. Part 3 of the people. Parts racing. And I said, listen, don't play with me. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to love on people. Yeah. I give to people. Yeah, but when I see, I don't know why God has always put me on jobs or in situations where I'm the one taking the lead when people are being done wrong. You know what? I know now. I kind of know now, but
it is very important that you realize that you are an anomaly, and I'm not trying to be like, and I am too. because I used to say, why did you put me in this hellish, chaotic situation?
Every
And
time.
you move me into places, and then I go there. And then while I'm in this place, I catch all kinds of hell. But I'm the only
Every
one
time.
that's sitting there looking at a principal saying, this woman is speaking to children like they're terrible. This woman is racist. This man is doing this. They're doing this. They're doing this. And then you become the problem. And I was always told, I said, for me, it was because you're not afraid to do it. You're not afraid to say it. But what I've also learned is when women like us are put into situations like that, and you know you are the disruptor, it is righteous justice. Righteous justice is never seen as, oh, she's gonna get hers. No, because you are on a mission. You were set there to do something, and you're not told everything you're gonna do because you're given the freedom to be you. But as soon as you get plucked up and pulled up out of that situation, and you're obedient to go when you're told to go, and you're obedient to move when you're told to move. And that's the difference between women and men. We're always doing the whole thing, and we're scanning, and we're looking. We're not looking for an out. We're looking at where can I be and where I'm supposed to go. Also, when's my exit coming?
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? Because how many times have you petitioned and been like, you can get me up out of this now? I'm trying to be obedient to this. And then when you move in that way, in education, it is the exact same structure. Because you could be the one person to say, hey, guess what? This woman is speaking to these children like they straight up dogs, right? Well, you know, her test scores are high.
Yes.
Well, you know,
Yes.
and I'm just saying this because, you know, I do have some white women friends who are wonderful.
Yes.
Well, you know, she's white and she gonna cause a much more problems for me than anything, and I don't want to deal with that. Well, so okay, fine. You're not doing nothing on behalf of children, because that is, I love children before I love anybody else. Right? And so I said, okay, on behalf of the children, I would literally look at them and say, I want you to call her mama, and I want you to talk to her mama. Have her mama come up here and stand in front of you. And I want you to say exactly what you said to her child, to her mama face.
Yes.
Do it. Because at the end of the day, she is an extension of her mother. Now I'm the problem. Good. And they be like, Miss Bolton, I can't believe you said this. Miss Bolton, I can't believe you did that. Right? Because they don't stand up for y'all the way they need to.
Nope.
Right?
Yep.
You're not allowed to be in my area. I don't see you. I don't talk to you because I heard how you talk to children.
And
I heard what you said to children. I don't respect you anymore being my boss or being a higher up because you didn't put children first. And when you say that, I used to tell people all the time, and I will always say it, I work for the school board. The school board had what was my mission, what is my mission, and that's children, right? And so I'm gonna work for them as long as I possibly can, which then my ancestors pivoted me and they said, we need you to sit down for just a little bit and rest, and then we're moving you into something else. And now where they moved me into is like, okay, buckle up, buttercup, here we go. Because now I'm in a whole different realm and way of being with children. I know that I'm not sent there to disrupt. I know the full-on mission and the full-on thing that I'm supposed to be doing in this next round. But I literally heard, baby, it's going to take a woman to do it. And your grandmothers will be backing you. But you're also going to need community, and you're going to need other women to help lift you up, because what we're doing in the spiritual is going to need to happen in the physical.
Here.
And then you sent that invitation, and I said, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yes. So it is very true. You replace it.
Miss Gwen, I want to get
about to say, I'm
Miss Gwen said too
I feel like we've been talking a lot
Miss
about
Gwen is
like,
the Amber
being strong and being in areas where we feel like it's male dominant. But
That's
you
what I
being
wanna
like
know.
corrections,
Right.
like how do you
Well,
handle that?
what I was going to say with regards to that, I was going to have to like.
I was like, I see you got something to say.
It's okay. I'm a yapper. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
sorry.
Doing that.
No, I mean, I'm thankful in today's law enforcement world that the face of law enforcement has changed like exponentially, and it was always one of those things where we were in a male dominated, field. So, and that has like done a complete 360, because when I started in the profession, the face was older, ex-military white man, period. And when I started, I might have been able to find like one female just on working on the floor, working with the inmates, and maybe one or two in leadership, and they were still white. However, but at this point, the field is probably 75% female,
Wow.
and even more of that in the minority.
Wow.
And so we have come quite a long way. And even with that, we have definitely, and even when you started that field, it was a lot of peer pressure to maintain this gorilla. You needed to have this she-roll, beat on your chest, rock 'em, sock 'em mentality, or else you were seen as weak.
Yeah.
You understand? And so I remember, and it's like, because you only know what you're trained to do. And so I remember starting in the field, because keep in mind, when I got into the field, I was very passive, very timid, quiet, still kind of quiet, but that field definitely forced you to just stand up and say what needs to be said, and not just when you're dealing with inmates, more so when you're dealing with co-workers, management of the sort, it just forced you to have to just speak up for yourself, So when we talk about how you, or the reason why you ended up in a field, I think that was some of the reason I was placed in that field, to just open my mouth, because that was not who I was. So even with that, it definitely helped me to just open my mouth and just be more vocal, because that was something I needed. Didn't even know I needed it, but I needed it. And so it has definitely worked, because it was a struggle, because you're dealing with your counterparts who are not respecting the fact that, you belong there, And I love that video by Obama, who said, "Do not let people make you feel like you don't belong."
Yes.
When I say that is so true, but just the time and years it takes you to just embody that, because it's so much of that good old boy, because that's what ran that profession. Good old boy, And I'll get to another story. This is another story for another time. But even in that good old boy scenario, I ended up getting fired from this same profession, and it was really based on, and I would make no excuses. I did wrong in the midst of that, but just the way that they handled it, it was one of those things where, you little black girl, you're not gonna tell us nothing. You're not gonna tell us what to do. And as a result, you out, So anyway, had to fight to get back to that job 14 months later, out of work, and all the things, but God prevailed in the end. God prevailed in the end. And so, and I left, and at that time I was still just an officer on the floor, but God placed me in a position where I am a captain today. And so I had an opportunity to outlive or outwork every person who was a part of that termination. So God was good. He let me sit in the rooms with the very people who were a part of that. You know what I mean? So God is awesome. But I'm getting all over the place. But getting back to what the profession does, like it's definitely come a long way, and you have had to fight to be heard, because you had to earn your voice, because they just weren't willing to allow your voice to be heard.
I worked in corrections. I worked at CFRC.
Okay.
So my mom worked there when they moved down here in the 90s. Me and my dad were in New York. My mom was there from like 93 until she's right there. She's still there now. So
Yes.
she got me a job there, and I was a classification officer. So I went in there. It was like one of my grown-up jobs, straight out of like college. I'm like, I got a grown-up job. I'm doing clerical.
Yes.
I'm going in there and I'm dressed, cute. I'm wearing heels, matching jewelry, and I used to get stares, not from the men, but from the women.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one day this lady called me in her office and she said, "You dress too cute to be working here."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it hurt my feelings. I was like, okay,
Yes, it
so
should.
what do you want me to do? She was like, you need to ugly it up some.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
yeah.
not ugly at all.
And she was a
Exactly.
Hispanic lady, so I left her office. I cried, and she was talking. My dad is
Don't look at
Spanish,
me.
so my dad, I understood everything she was saying about me
Mhm.
to everybody else. So I went home, and I'm like, I'm not about to let her treat me like this. So I went in the next day, sweatpants and t-shirt.
Oh.
She looked at me like, I said, but is this ugly enough for you?
Oh,
And one of the black ladies there, she was like, come into my office, and she was like, don't let them take you out of character. She was like, you wear what you want. If you want to wear heels on this compound, you wear heels on this compound. She was like, hold yourself in regard to where you have to make them respect you.
Yes.
Mm.
And I was
Because
like,
femininity was not
no.
welcome
Mm-mm.
in that field.
No.
And that kind of goes back to it was almost seen as a weakness. And if you were in that field, you couldn't exhibit any femininity,
Right.
But I remember trying it the other way, and I'm like, this ain't me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and I had to learn just in growing in that career that you are meant to be exactly who you are meant to be, even to affect these inmates that you are
Yes.
supervising, because they will respond to your authenticity and you will watch it work for you. It is not always about sock 'em, drop 'em.
Yeah.
If you know how to speak and show respect,
Yeah.
you learn it works.
Yes.
So it's like you're taught
Yeah.
to just drop them, kick, da da da. But no, it wasn't until much later in my career that they even started making that a part of training, that you speak to them, you show them respect, you de-escalate, you have a conversation, and for the most part, you find that it works. Who knew? Because you were definitely taught the opposite coming in. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, femininity was not welcome. But I think that, and as we can see that has had a 360 turnaround, that it is okay to still wear your lace fronts.
Hello.
All right. Keep it off the collar though. Keep it off the collar. But it's okay to be a feminine woman and still dominate in this
My mom
field.
says they still talk about me there. She said every time we go, she's the girl who worked in working classification. She would walk down to TNR in her heels every day, back and forth with them files, back and forth. She said, they still talk about you. You're the only person that went to work and wore heels.
They had us.
Absolutely.
They just mad because they couldn't do
I had a
it.
grown-up job. I'm
Yes.
like a
That's
girl.
right. That's right.
Yes.
I just wanted to shift us just a little bit into.
Oh, wait, Angelica didn't answer.
Oh, my bad.
Oh no! It's
Well, I was
okay.
gonna start with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You tell me. I can pick up where these ladies left off. We can start somewhere new. But one thing I do want to mention is that I feel like everyone talked about, and I think is so powerful, is that everyone at one point was a voice for someone. And that's something that I struggled with, speaking up and using my voice. So for so long growing up, it was like I was bullied, I was shut down, like I never fit in. So it's either like I wasn't Black enough or I wasn't Latina enough, right? So it's always like, okay, I'm the leftover.
Right.
So now I feel like that's my purpose in the beauty field. It's not just, oh, you want to look cute today? No. It's, I'm going to empower you to be your best version of yourself.
A
you know?
ministry.
A ministry, 1,000%. And for so long, I was like, God, do you want me here? Like, I don't know much about beauty. Like, I had to hide myself, I didn't feel feminine enough or pretty enough or whatever it was. And then now I realize, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to be the one that helps these women feel beautiful.
Yes.
Whether it is you are going through something like the amazing cancer warriors, I don't know if you ladies noticed the photos, but I keep looking at it, and it gets me. And I needed that to be my reminder every day when I walk in, because behind that are faces of a nonprofit foundation called My Name is Beautiful, because I want these women to remember that your name is beautiful because it's your story. It's not your hair that makes you beautiful. It's not because you have perky boobies, it's not your scars that make you ugly. Like, embrace that. So if I'm able to sprinkle a little bit of hope or a little bit of beauty for that woman that didn't feel blank enough.
Girl,
Like,
preach, girl,
Lord,
preach.
use me, you know? So it's one of those that it's just like, it's so crazy to see how like the script has turned, because it's like I would hide myself behind like baggy clothes or hanging out with the boys because I wasn't
Girl, you
girly
ain't walking here
enough.
like that today. But no, I was gonna say to hear you say that, I hear that a lot, especially with my biracial foster daughters. Like, you know, when I'm their quiet time and I talk to them individually in their room, that's how you build a relationship with them. And they tell me stuff, and it's hard for me to relate when they say, Miss T, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know if I'm on the white side or the black side, and I'm already this foster kid who don't have a mama, don't know who my daddy is, and Miss T, that just makes me feel even worse. So when people now tell me stuff like that, even grown women, I hear that from grown women, but especially my babies, I have to help them maneuver.
Right.
You know, you standing 10 toes down. You're beautiful. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not beautiful, that you're not worthy. Just because you don't know who your mama is, or your mama's still on crack, you don't know who your daddy is, you still somebody. And by the time you leave Miss T's boot camp, you're gonna walk out of here knowing you're somebody. So grab hold. If you ever hear somebody, because to me, I can't understand sometimes when they be saying, I'm like, well, child, you're biracial. Like, you ain't black and you ain't white. You just mixed. You know? But for them, they really internalize that stuff, and it stays with them for a long time. But for somebody like me that's always been confident, like I don't care if I was 100 pounds, I don't care. I'm walking in the room, like
you gonna own it.
I own this one, baby.
Yes.
But for them, and just to hear you say that too, and it just was confirmation that these kids really struggle with not knowing like who they are, and it's like I don't be crying up in here.
And I didn't realize until therapy.
Hello.
And it wasn't until therapy. I'm like, damn, I guess I do got a little bit of trauma. We all do. It's like, can you imagine how much better this world would be if everyone just did at least one session, y'all? Come on, you know? But it's just, and I didn't realize it. And it's crazy too, because I'm learning more about like the cancer and just health wise. It's just like a lot of health conditions is stored trauma, you know, and it's all connected, and it's just like
it is.
Yo, that therapy works, you know,
and that's why I started Spread the Love. Y'all, you see Spread the Love now, and you see Spread the Love. But Spread the Love, that's where it started from. Like, it was a free event. Like, I do a retreat yearly. I'm getting ready to do another. I bring therapists in because the last retreat I brought, it was like 35 ladies in the house in the room. It was like 16 rooms and 15 bathrooms. But these ladies was in their 50s, crying from the pits of their belly, releasing stuff. So when I see that taking place, it just, I couldn't even get to, you know, I'm looking over at my friend like, girl, get up, help me, like get them tissues in. But to hear ladies releasing stuff from, and they 55 years old, and just crying from, and I got Shirley in there, she's doing stuff, and I'm just like, God, Lee, it's really God. That's why you called me to do this. That's why you called me to do this kind of stuff. But I just, man, listen, it's a lot of hurt.
It's real. It's real. Like literally just learning myself to embrace myself. I'll be 53 this year. So it's been over the past year and a half that I have been learning to be okay with my little crooked teeth.
I know that's
to be okay with my little nappy hair and wearing my fro out. And being okay with, I was 110 pounds soaking wet. I had 3 children that gained no more than 18 pounds.
Oh God!
My son wore me out though, y'all. He wore me out. I gained 60 pounds, and from there it was one. But now being this size, I've never been this size, and so it was like, God, I'm one of those 50-year-old women. I've been in these spaces. I'm in therapy, going to yoga. I have been to 2 professional yoga classes, and let me tell you how I was in tears. I'm talking about crying from the pit, because why? Specifically within my era, my age group, we were told little girls are supposed to be seen and not heard.
Mhm.
So when people did stuff to us, we just stuffed it. And we
Correct.
stuffed it and we stuffed it. And it's
Absolutely.
in these thighs, it's in these hips,
Yeah.
it's in my back,
Yeah.
it's in my arms, it's in my chest. So when I start moving,
Yes.
I'm moving that negative energy
Yes.
out that's
Yes.
been stuck in there for so long.
Yes.
But this is the energy that we're in now
Exactly.
of exposure.
Absolutely.
So look around you. The administration, all of this stuff, don't be mad at it. It is important. How do you
Right.
see the dirt? How do you see the silt unless the water is disturbed? So we need to see the silt so it can rise to the top so we can filter it the fuck out.
Yes.
The same with us women. We store so much trauma.
Yeah,
We
all the
store
time.
so much of being beaten and
Yeah.
being told to shut the fuck up and
Yeah.
being told you ugly because
Absolutely.
you don't fit a certain narrative. To now it's okay to be who you are.
Exactly.
And so when you get in these spaces, you actually are able to come to some recompense
Yeah.
and say it's okay to be me
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
pull from that shit and get it out, whether it's a yoni steam or it's yoga. You know, I've been in these spaces and I had no idea. Yeah.
Just
Yelling
yelling.
at
Right.
shit.
Yeah, I thought that was my
I didn't go there for that.
experience in that.
I did not go there for that.
And I remember my sister, I don't know where this strength came from. I just don't, and maybe it was in those fights, fighting back,
Yeah.
helping my mama fight back.
All my life.
So
I had
all
to
my
fight.
life I had to
All
fight. So
my life.
maybe that's where this came from. But I remember my sister coming home from middle school. I think I was probably in 9th grade, and she was just crying. And she was like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" And everybody at school keep telling me that I'm ugly, and I looked at my sister. I said, "Girl, you walk back in here again, crying, talking about somebody said you ugly, and you know you not ugly. You don't let nobody dictate how you feel."
Mm.
I said, "Girl, you beautiful. Our mama don't have ugly ovaries."
Okay. No,
Listen, mama, and I can't say my mama implanted.
Wait. How my boy Debbie say rewind? I will make you a t-shirt. My mama don't have no ugly ovaries.
No, ma'am. So, I just don't know. I drive on that. You know, because I do got older friends that's in their 50s and they're still dealing with stuff. And I be trying, like, I be just like, God, like, they've been my friend for like 20 years and they still ain't got it. Like, what's wrong with them? But some of them have been trauma. The trauma is so deep and it can
Embedded.
penetrate so deep that it takes years and years and years and layers of breaking down those walls
Yes.
and trying to just rebuild new ones. But yeah, I told my sister, don't you ever walk in here.
As a personal trainer, I feel like every woman that I meet, every client that comes to me, they all come to me with a weight loss issue. I want to look like this. I want to look like that. I want to do this and I want to do that. And that's why I love to have consultations with people before I take them on as a client.
That makes sense.
Because
Yeah.
I need to know if I'm gonna be the best fit for you.
You.
I'm not looking at weight loss. We're not
Exactly.
dealing with skinny or fat.
Yeah.
We're gonna deal with the root of what's going on in your head. Like,
Yes.
why do you feel like this?
Yes.
And then we're gonna talk about the healthy reasons why you should lose weight, not the reason why you want to look like this girl on Instagram.
Do social
Yeah.
media.
Mm-hmm.
We go through that all the time. Like we talk about this.
Yeah,
I be calling her.
Yeah.
Give
I'm like,
yourself
girl,
grace.
I need to get back in the gym, and she's just like,
Give
she was like, "What you eat
yourself
this
grace.
week? How'd you eat it? You know better." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right."
You know what gets me is I've known many friends, family, or what have you that have had a lap band or gastric bypass or whatever these things, tummy tucks and what have you. But here's the thing. There's a good bit of them that have gained it all back and
Right.
doubled it. And
Yeah.
why? Because if you do not attack the
Yes.
mindset
Yep.
that
That's it.
created
That's it.
the overeating, because a lot of times it's
Right.
I need comfort.
Mhm.
Okay. A lot of times I'm afraid.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm bored. I don't know what else to do. These are conditioned things
Absolutely.
that we have got to get to
Yes.
the root of the problem, trace back. Why am I eating right now? I'm not even hungry.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself. Okay. I'm talking to myself right now. Why am I eating? I'm not even hungry. And so I have to be in my own head. This is why therapy is important.
Yes.
This is why not being selfish with your trauma is important,
Yeah.
because they're still going through it because it took them years to get into it. So it might take them years to get out of it and work it all out. And guess what? Healing is not a destination.
No.
If somebody says to you, I'm healed completely, run
No.
the fucking other way.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you, because healing is not a destination, it's a journey.
Yeah.
And we continue to do that.
Oh,
The same
Right.
way we continue to learn until we die. And if you stop learning, you dead already. Whether you could be walking around here, but if you
That's
can't
right.
learn nothing, you're dead.
Right.
And what good are you? So we need to continue to tell our stories.
Yeah.
Correct.
We need to continue to remain open and vulnerable. And here's the thing. Yes, we've been hurt. We've been hurt by friendships. We've been hurt by relationships. We've been hurt by family. Church was the worst hurt for me.
Church hurt.
Okay.
Church
hurt.
However, you have to trust who you belong to and who is
Yes.
on your team. And so that doesn't change you, who you are as a person. You continue to be open and vulnerable, and the powers that be will guide you to those people that can help you along your path,
Absolutely.
right? Help guide you along that journey. And sometimes, don't shout me down, sometimes you need that hurt. It's a part to nudge you back
That's right.
on the
Yes.
pathway you're supposed to go. And I say this all the time. When you look back in hindsight and you look at these things that you thought were bad, I don't assign bad and good anymore, that you thought were negative, that were super painful, I guarantee you those were the times of your greatest growth,
Absolutely.
right? So stop the assessments. Stop the comparisons. I'm not supposed to be built like or look like any one of y'all because I'm only one Keisha,
Right.
the one that came from my mom and daddy. And you the only Tawanda that came from your mom and dad. You understand what I'm saying? So we have got to continue to talk,
We do.
continue to have the conversations,
Yes.
even in unlikely circumstances.
Yes.
Look how all of us came from different places and different walks of life, and
Still have the same.
right here in real time connections.
Absolutely.
You see, so we have to continue to move through those things.
Yes.
I would like to just add one thing to what you're saying
Mhm.
is that even when it comes down to body image,
Mm.
while building community, we have to look different. We
Mm.
have to look. There has to be the person that walks in with the BBL and all that. She has to be a part of this. The woman who is just stick thin has to be a part of this. The woman who's had one child and looks like this has to look through this. And when you talk about food trauma, we also have to look at, and I'm sure you've had clients like this as well, but for me, mine was, I don't know when we're gonna eat again. And so that was me. I'm getting emotional because that was myself and my son and my mom. We were the ones that were at these church food banks at 4 a.m. in the morning, making sure that we were the fifth car. So we got the fifth ticket, because by the time you got to the 6th or 10th box, that box
don't know
was
what's in
food
enough.
was rotten, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I tell people I chose to pay the bills, the biggest one is the food, because I watched my son at 6 and 7 get real skinny. And from that time, from when he was 6 until he was about 9, I dropped so much weight. Do you know, on the outside, other women thought, oh, she working out now. She looking good now. No, he ate and I didn't.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? My mama ate and I didn't, because I could store my mind. I'm the thickest one. I got enough fat reserves. And you know, in our community, in the Black community, there's a saying that we hear common where you say, my stomach talking to my backbone. It's because my stomach is empty.
Yes.
And whenever I am hungry, I say, ooh, my stomach talking to my backbone. You know, because you would hear that all the time. And people will tell you Robin's love language is food. And it is, because if you said, hey, let's go get some food, I'm going to go. Right. So asking those questions, like, do I want to lose weight for me to feel healthier? Yes, absolutely. There's also that whole thing in the back of my mind where right now I'm at a place where, do we have enough money for groceries? Do we have enough money for food? Do we have enough for this? Do we have enough for that? I'll take you to the grocery store and I'll get you what you need and I'll do all of those things. But that's what has to happen, because a lot of women out here are like, okay, I've got 4 children at home. Did they eat? Great. I didn't. Would you like this? And then, you know, once you start to have a little bit more money, I realized for me, it was, we always had food. right? But maybe the light bill didn't get paid, and maybe I got an extension. Maybe I got an extension on the phone bill. Maybe rent was behind, and they was putting the notices on the door. But did he eat?
Mhm.
And did I eat? Because it was the first time that I could also take care of myself.
So,
And
sorry, two things, and I like that you said that because people don't know what you're going through behind the scenes.
That's a fact.
So what I hate to hear, because my mom did this to me. No, you're not getting up from that table till you finish your food. You would force me to eat all this food until I have this mentality that I have to eat my whole. I'm full,
Right.
but I'm still eating.
Yeah.
And she would tell me, "Oh, the people in Africa are starving." I'm like, "Well, then
Ooh,
give
I
them my
heard
plate."
no, they're not.
I heard
And they would tell y'all,
Right.
they would tell y'all that we eat
Right.
every day. But that whole guilt is that
Yes.
thing. And it's my house and it's that. But you know, when my son's
Yes.
pediatrician told me, she said, Robin, you put meals in front of him, what he eat.
That's
What
it.
he
Let him eat
don't,
what he wants.
he don't.
Right.
And then move on with life, because food trauma and having that whole thing, and that's important, especially too, as we're working with community building, is when we look at all of these women and these families and we're like, okay, we've got the food, you've got the food. Mom, did you eat? Dad, did you eat? Well, and because everybody's going to think in the back of their mind, they're asking me this question, and I'm thinking, did the kids eat?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if the children ate, that's why I don't know how it is specifically in everyone's family, but with mine, it was the children get the food first.
Right. Yes.
Well, that's how it was. And you know what?
No, it wasn't
my
mine.
husband. My
Man.
husband.
My mom, I'm about to say,
And
my the
in
man
my
got served
daddy-
first.
In my
The man
husband's
didn't
family,
Nope.
his mom and dad was married 67 years. His mom was an educator. His dad was, so he had a perfect family unit. His dad, all the kids ate. They had 8 kids, so all their kids ate. But my husband comes from his dynamics. I've learned a lot from their family. What I was going to say, add on to that, and that's another reason I don't like to talk a lot about my kids' trauma, my foster kids.
Right.
And the reason is people
Respectfully,
don't,
yes.
they don't understand
They don't.
the amount of trauma.
Right.
Like all of y'all have gone through something, and I got one kid that has all that. One kid is dealing with all of
Yeah.
those things.
Right.
And trying to explain it to a person that's outside of this field that don't understand trauma, it's a headache.
It is.
And it's
It is.
draining.
It is.
Because I may have a kid that's storing food in their room. And there's no reason for you to store the food because we're going to always make sure you eat. But because that kid was
Food
hungry,
insecurity.
I had a kid that was peeing in the closet. As I'm training other people, and it does make sense. It makes sense. You know why it makes sense? Because he was getting raped by his dad when he went outside his room. So it's our job now to make him feel safe.
Yes.
It's our job to build a healthy relationship. And once I get my kids to trust me, that's when I can begin to shift their mind.
Yes.
That's when I can begin to tear down some of those walls and shape some of those behaviors and build new behaviors. I said, but if they don't trust you, because one thing I've learned about foster kids, the spirit of discernment that God has given these kids,
Yes.
listen,
Super vigilant.
let me tell you something. They know automatically with them meeting you if you're a good person
Period.
or if you're not a good
Oh, yeah.
person.
Yeah,
Right.
I remember
They
my
had
They know.
to know.
Yeah.
They had to
And
know.
they had to
They
know.
had to know.
And especially because of their trauma.
Yes.
They're
So trying to
closer-
explain it to
they're
a
closer to
person
God.
outside and just be like,
yeah,
it be so draining. It just be like,
Yeah.
that's stupid. Why they do that? And I just be like, Lord, I already explained this to you like 2 or 3 times. I'm not, just don't ask me
It's
nothing
not
about
gonna
my
make
kids.
sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm careful who I bring. I get people all the time, oh, I want to come in and speak to kids. No, you're not coming to speak to my kids.
No.
And I flat out told the girl one time, no, baby, I just sat here and watched you. Then you found out I had a group home. And it was, Twan, I need to come. Girl, I didn't know you had a group home. I need to come talk to your kids. No, you don't need to. I said, no, you don't need to come talk to my kids till you learn how to speak, baby. I say, all the stuff I just heard you say, you could never come talk to my kids.
Yeah.
Never.
And that's being a wonderful, beyond a good steward over
Right.
children.
Yes.
No.
Because guarding them and making sure that you also can clock a person when they come in. And on the spiritual side of that, it's like when you are a very spiritual person and we have giftings, right? But when you operate in that, you know exactly, okay, this person I'm gonna put here, this person, that person. You can
Yeah.
read a person, but when you are working, especially because I love children, and you're working with children, you're like, I will never bring this person around that person. That
Not
way.
gonna ask David.
And by the way,
Alone.
can you please come help me today? You know, so you know those types of people. But being that good steward and that guardian, I think of Archangel Michael standing there in the midst and be like, protecting. You can't get past me to get to them.
Period.
That is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is
beautiful.
your charge.
I want to speak on that just a little bit with regard to being a good steward over your kids. So I am a single parent. I have one daughter. And so as we were talking earlier about coming from families that had parents who were married for 50, 60 years. My grandparents were married for like 70 years before my grandmother passed away. On the other hand, my mother, she was married 3 times. 2 of them were toxic. The last one would have been the marriage of all marriages, but he died like a year later. He was like, that was going to be the perfect relationship. He was everything that she deserved after being in those toxic relationships. So when we talk about generational, so for me, watching her go through the relationships that she did, I was like, I ain't going through that. So that meant I was the opposite of her with having 3 marriages. I didn't know how to have one, right? So just dealing with just my own relationships and some of them
But
being
that's still a
toxic.
form of trauma.
It is.
Yes.
It is. So, and even learning that, because again, man, you don't even learn that's what it is.
You don't know what
You
it
in therapy, you know.
Yeah.
Like my therapist was like, she was like, Gwen, you know, everything that you've gone through comes from something.
Yes.
Comes from somewhere. And for me, I didn't know that. You know, I'm thinking like, this is just how I am, and this is just what it was. So, but you don't even learn those things until you are in therapy.
Yes.
But guess who was the person that started to tell me that I need therapy? This was my daughter, who was in mental health crisis. But when she was saying, Mama, you got trauma. And I'm thinking, like, what's she talking about? But I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like,
I tell myself.
talking about. But it took me just a minute to just realize that I had my own trauma, you know, and even with having relationships while I'm raising her, I was kind of super overprotective. If I thought that was going to be somebody who was not going to be around, I ain't introduced them. They were not going to be a part of this equation. So while I'm thinking I'm protecting her, but I obviously wasn't protecting her from my own trauma. You understand what I'm saying? So while I'm trying to help her avoid whatever this relationship trauma might have been, I was still giving her mine that I never dealt with, you know? So it was just interesting because you think, you know, like you doing like the absolute best, but whatever anger that I was dealing with from my own childhood trauma, whatever got compounded on through the relationship trauma was still bleeding on her.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, but it didn't come out until she was going through her own like mental health thing. And because I was a total internal child, she was totally external. So she said everything. So, and that was something that I even had to learn how to deal with because I didn't come from a family that welcomed being
Vocal
expression, you know, expressional. And so I didn't even know how to deal with a child who told me everything that was coming out of her mouth because I'm like, I didn't deal with that because the times when I expressed myself, I was told I was too sensitive.
Ooh,
I was
my
told
God.
that
Cry baby.
you just doing too much, you know. So I learned to shut down.
Yes.
So I'm like, so now I got a daughter who is totally the opposite, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. because I don't know how to deal with expressions. I don't know how to deal with vocalness. You know what I mean? So it's just funny that even when you think you're trying to protect them, you still bleeding them because you ain't dealt with your own trauma.
That's a
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just so funny that, you know, and it just kind of just reminds you of just how important therapy is, which is what I was saying in the beginning about how you just have no idea the trauma you've been through until you sit down and you talk to someone and you share these things, because otherwise it's not going to come from your family because they just
the same stuff.
they got trauma too. They got trauma they don't even know about.
You become what the organization I worked for 13 years is. Everything is based off of research. So it's therapeutic research. What we teach, the model that we taught was a therapeutic model. And what you do learn, even teaching some of my kids those skills, how to deal with anger, how to show respect, following instructions.
Emotion.
And sometimes when I was teaching them, everybody had an individualized treatment plan. And that's when all this stuff began to resurface in me, because as I was reading them, the skills, the anger control is, you take some time, like if you're in a conversation with somebody, and I used to tell them, hey, what is your skill steps to anger control? Let's think about this. Let's talk about it. And at the time, me and you, we can't go back and forth. Nobody's listening.
Right.
So at the time, I'd be like, okay, Gwen, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to step away. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to think so you can process. Maybe you need to go write in your journal. And then I'll check back with you in about 5 minutes and see how you feel. And that makes sense. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Okay, that's fine. Gwen, like I said, I'll be back. Y'all circle back in about 5-10 minutes. They now calm down and they've thought about what happened. But I said, God, where was somebody at when I needed this? Like, nobody taught me these skills. Nobody told me how to show respect. Nobody told me why it was important to follow instructions. Look at the person, say, okay, go do the task right away, and then you check back. That's the skill of following instructions. That's very important. You need to learn that skill. You need that. But as I began to teach those skills, I began to learn those skills. And I'm just like, well, Lord, had I used this with my kids, maybe my first child, he works for me now. You could have told me that little boy was going to be working for me at 14 when I was choking him out. Listen, when I tell you I was at school every year, but I had to go back and I had to apologize to my son. I had to make some apologies. I had to wrong that right because I was dealing with some stuff that I didn't even know I was dealing with. I didn't know anything about trauma and therapy and all this kind of stuff. So, it's deep, y'all. But these are conversations that's needed, and we need to continue to do these type of conversations because some people still, even my mom was like, God, I love her. I'm glad she ain't on Facebook like that. But she still has that mindset sometimes of God is just doing it. I don't believe in all that.
Same here.
So, can I just say, there's nothing wrong. Like I did so great, and I raised you the right way, and this is what you did. Look at you now. I'm here because of me. I'm not here because of what you did. I'm here because I chose to do better than what you
did. And that's what I was gonna say that to Tawana as well, that I now wanted to be what I didn't have for myself. So again, I had to go back and make some atonements with her and just say, I apologize, like blah blah blah. I didn't know that I was doing that because that's what I would have wanted for her.
And what the doctors in therapy teach you though, what they taught us, because we had an intense training on therapy, and you become the therapist.
That's what I was speaking to.
You and the doctors and the therapists stood in front of a room and told us, you are more a therapist than me. But just because I got it in front, if you working with that kid or that child day in and day out, you become their therapist. In real time. In real time.
And the reason that you're in that space, I wanted to speak to both of you on that. The reason that you are who you needed is because, see, first of all, time is just for this plane. All these things have happened in multiple dimensions, and that's scientific. I'm talking about quantum things now, right? So everything you're doing now, you've already done in another space at the same time. So here's where this works. You are what you needed, but what you're doing in real time is going back and healing that you. You're seeing reflections of you in every pieces of you.
Yep.
And every one of these young women, men,
Mhm.
anybody you come across, women, grown women,
Mhm.
you're seeing reflections of you, what was broken in you.
Yes.
And when you're able to speak to that,
Mhm.
you're going back in time and you're healing that part of you and you're bringing it forward
Yes.
in another person.
Yes.
All of us are reflections of each other in some form or
Yes.
fashion.
Mhm.
So, again, not being selfish with your trauma, as you continue to speak about these things, you will come to realize the healing is in you. You are the healer.
Yes.
Nobody
Yep.
Nobody heals you. You
That's
know
good.
that, right?
That's good.
What they do is tap you into the healer in you because what you need to heal yourself is already in you. You see what I'm saying? Because that energy flows through you. And so as you learn things, you share those things, each one teach one, and you're giving back to another little piece of you, and you continue to heal those pieces of you until when we leave this plane, we're whole, we're done. And then we go on to be somebody's ancestor and speak and show up. I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna shift to Nikki. But I also do self-love classes and things like that. I also do readings, right? And folks have come in talking to me, telling me things about people I don't even know. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. And speak into people's lives things that I have no knowledge of. I know in my knower. And when I speak it to them, they know what I'm talking about, and I have no idea. So even though I don't know, when I speak it to them and they bring it back to me, it's still healing a part of me because my mouth is moving. I'm speaking things I don't even really know of, but it's healing me at the same time. It's touching them, right? You can speak to that, right? And I was surprised that because I felt like, am I crazy? These people, I'm not going to say that these people are going to think I'm crazy, but I've learned to embrace that as well, right? And be who you were put here to be. And when you walk in your purpose, you're going to continue to heal and be healed continually as you put that energy. It's a reciprocal energy. You're putting it out and you're giving it right back. You're feeding it right back to self. We ain't nothing but walking, talking plants. All plants need water. They all look different ways. Some of them are pretty, some of them are plain, some of them are prickly.
And somebody that you talk to is her.
They all of them do, but they need water to grow. And what is the water for us walking and talking ones? Knowledge. When you put that knowledge out there, that's healing.
And
that's
I know that's
growth.
confirmation. They talked about the water and the plants today in church.
Mm.
Sure did. I am not lying.
I don't care what you believe in. Whether it's God, the universe, the ancestors,
It was
whatever,
blown,
it's coming
blown where
back.
you're
Gift
planted.
message,
Yes.
yes.
Blown where you're planted.
Yes.
That's important. Yeah, so thank you ladies so much. We're gonna wrap it up. But to wrap it up, we always like to end with the purpose of our podcast. So our podcast is Strength in Silence, which means that even when we're in silence, it's when we're building our strength. Just because we're quiet doesn't mean we're weak. Just because we're quiet doesn't mean that we don't have a plan. And just because we're quiet doesn't mean we don't have to speak up. We still need to speak up because there is also strength in our voice. So we would like to end with, we're going to go one by one. We'll start with Gwen. For those people that are watching, is there a word or something you would like to say to them wherever they are that you can give? It's like a gem that you can drop and you can give to them for wherever they are in their life right now that would help them maybe want to speak up or know that they're not weak in their silence.
Okay. Well, I think I would say, I think the biggest thing that I have learned, at this phase of my life is that your voice is so valuable. It is so valuable. There is no such thing as not being good enough or your words don't have power. And that's just what has had to be spoken to me over and over, that your words matter. Your voice is big. Your voice is valuable. And it has the power to change lives. And as we talked about a lot of transparency today, in the things that we've gone through, the traumas, I remember being in church and a pastor said, and it stuck with me. He said that sometimes you have to have been hurt to know how to help.
Ooh.
And you use that hurt because that's the whole purpose is to turn around and use it to help everyone who has gone through or will go through. That's our whole purpose is to use it, not to sit with it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Miss Gwen, can you shout out your side hustle where we can reach you?
Oh, okay.
Your business, yes, ma'am.
prettypassionsbyg.com. And you can also email me at prettypassionsbyg@gmail.com. And that is my website. Or Facebook, I am Gwen Garrett. Instagram, I am G Sharice. And get with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Robin.
For me, I'd like to say to those who are silent and where they find your power, it's a wonderful place to be. Because in your silence, you get to hear you. You get to really organize your own thoughts, organize what's going on, your environment, your experiences. But I would like to encourage anyone who is moving in silence to document it, write it down, so that in the future, if you have posterity, if you have a future generation, even for yourself, you can go back and go, okay, when I was quiet, this is what I heard, this is what I saw. But when your posterity goes and looks at it and they feel alone, and there's this book, or there's a journal, or there is something written down in their own handwriting, there's power in writing it down. And when you put pen to paper, pencil to paper, Sharpie to paper, and you collect it and you keep that silent moment to yourself and you can go back, there's power in that. Being an introvert is such a powerful place to be, because when you can sit with yourself, and it's not easy, trust me, and you have to sit with yourself in silence and you have to look at you. Like people like to call that shadow work, because we're looking at ourselves in the shadow. I like to think of things in duality. I'm out here in this world, and in the light you can see me. I'm over here in the darkness and I can see myself. But I can see myself in both because I'm sitting in the middle and I'm looking at it here and I'm looking at it there. Write it down. Put it on paper so that you can come back to it and that you can be able to work through it.
Yes.
I love that.
I would like to say also that for the extroverts out there, sometimes you gotta shut your mouth. And sometimes you gotta be quiet. And sometimes you do have to go, let me get a little quiet in the situation. I got talks too much on everything. And when I had to have that moment of silence, there were a number of things that I had to look at. I had to look at my body, I had to look at my face, I had to look at all of these different things within myself. Am I healed? Absolutely no, because I'm not gone yet. Am I healing? Yes, that is an action. So when I say I'm working through something, or when people say those types of things, I always take it back to my journals. I have so many journals of just writing down how I'm feeling, brain dumping at night to empty my brain out from all of the things that are happening.
That's what I learned.
But when you are a powerful person in your silence, when you get out there and you're stepping out there, you become such a much more like centered person. You transmute a lot of the things that happen in silence. You transmute pain, you learn transmutation, you learn alchemy, you learn all of these really wonderful aspects in silence. There is a powerful place to be, but just give yourself room to be able to say, I can't be here for very long. I got to go out here and do what needs to be done. I need to tell other people. I need to share this. Not everything. Not everything. And that's why I have having a spirit team, and that's why working alongside your spirits and your ancestors and whoever is really important, because it's like, you don't talk about that, but you talk about this. That's where I say that's where you find your power in silence.
Yeah.
Amazing. Where can we get your book?
Oh yeah.
Okay. My book is called Cicadas in the South by Robin S. Bolden. That's me. You could. I have an author TikTok page and then a regular TikTok. My TikTok is Robin S. Bolden, and there's some books behind it and a candle on the ancestors. And then my Facebook is also Robin S. Bolden. I have personal, just a regular one that's Robin Bolden. My TikTok is at Hey Rob, HEEEY Rob. That's where I have more followers, so I tend to go live from there. I do post from my author page. You can find my book at lulu.com/shop, Cicadas in the South, or Robin S. Bolden. You can type in spirituality, ancestors. There's a lot of keywords where you can pull it up. My website is also connected to my TikTok and my Facebook. I do not currently have an Instagram right now. I got banned. Somebody reported me. I have. So many people have fought me. So until I get a new phone and a new IP address, that's just whatever. But that's where you can find it. There is more to come from my company, Basie's Heart. Basie's Heart LLC is my company that I created that will just go out of, we will be doing a lot of community work. I will be working with a lot of children, especially with the school system, and a bunch of children who are my former students who just can't give me up just yet. And I'm like, you need volunteer hours? That's what I got for you. So that's Basie's Heart is my business, and it's connected to all of my socials, and my website is active and live, and so you can go there. I ask people to make inquiries if they're interested in certain things, because right now we're just working on building up enough people so that when we do get ready to go bust out there in the community for the different types of events, we'll be able to have a solid team of people, and then people who are just coming in to help out. Nice. So that's me.
Love it.
Jelly.
Alrighty. One takeaway I want to leave with, which took me so long to figure out, is just love. Learn to love others. Learn to, most importantly, give love, and above all, love yourself. You can move mountains when you learn to love yourself and accept that. And I think it's something so simple but yet so hard. So once you learn to master that, you'll be able to, that's how you change the world, Love those that need to be loved on. You never know what someone's going through. And it's beautiful because we all love in a different way, You love with your words. And I can listen to you all day, girl. Everything you say is so poetic. You love by serving, You love by giving back. Figure out what is, I guess, your love language, you could say, And love can change the world, and that's what we're all here for, make it all better. And once you learn to unlock that and learn to love yourself, you'll be able to learn to love others and give back. And I think that's something that I finally learned, and I'm still learning, because every day we're learning, but once you're able to just put that back out there, man, it's so powerful.
It is.
So that's my takeaway. You can find me at Ink and Artistry on Instagram, inkandartistry.com. My name is beautiful.com, and then on Instagram is My Name is Beautiful Foundation. There's ways to help the foundation, whether it's monetary, providing a service, providing goods, your time, whatever it is. So we are looking to get back more into the community, host more events for these women, whether it is just to make them feel heard, seen, loved, share their story, whatever it is. There's multiple ways to get back and just surround these women with love.
And you could come to her shop and get some things done, okay? Get things done if you feel like it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Ma'am. We appreciate you.
I'm just real quick, y'all. I got another event after this. That you are not your past mistakes. We are not our past mistakes. Your past does not dictate your future.
Yeah.
And as they say it today, just bloom wherever you're planted. And I just believe that if I if I had thought that I was my past mistakes, I didn't even get the tip of the iceberg. Being put in a trunk, held hostage for 24 hours, getting beat. But God, right?
Yes.
But God.
Yeah.
And as I go from place to place and speak on different things, and I actually have people had the audacity to come up to me afterwards and say, I don't believe you. Sure you went through all that? No, I just stood up there and
Made up
Right.
Yeah, I truly, that's what I believe from day to day, and that's what I teach all day. Don't, you are not your mistakes. You are not the mistakes. You are not even the things that happen to you. So I have a nonprofit too. It's the LaShaw House. That's the name of my and La and Shy comes from the queen who was born on crack. She was in the hospital for 6-7 months. She's been with me since she was 13. She's now 30. She has her master's degree. She graduated from FAMU. Then she graduated with her master's from FSU. She's a Zeta.
Okay.
She'll be working for me actually this summer. She stays in Houston now. That's how we got the name the LaShaw House. And then I have Tashai. Tashai has also been with me since she was about 14. She's now 30. She works for me part-time. She has a degree now. She is a supervisor at Panera Bread, and Tasha was raped by her dad at 12, impregnated by her dad. He had raped her for a whole year, and they don't mind me telling these stories. They're healed. They're healed.
Yeah.
So that's how we came up with the name of the LaShaw House, but it is our nonprofit organization for all girls that's in the foster care system. And then I have a yearly giveaway too. It's called Spread the Love, where I do free events in the community. And God has put me on a pedestal where I don't have to do fundraising. I do spread love with my own money, besides the event that I'm doing. And your name on my thing, right? Okay. If y'all want to come, y'all let me know. It's next Saturday. Nikki is coming. Nikki is actually, she's VIP. She is VIP. So she's going up in the presidential suite. And I'm doing it a little different this year. So yeah, so that's what I do. If it's something that I can help you with, I am a giver. I just don't like people to be trying to use me and stuff. Can't cook. Y'all listen. Us as givers out here,
Yes, they will
can't be
drain
connected to
you.
everybody.
That's right.
You gotta learn to say no.
Yeah. Ooh,
It's
that's the hard
okay to
part.
say no.
No,
He said
Who
complete
said
sentence.
that's the hard
Well,
part?
that me.
No, it's a
I'm a
complete
giver, and it's
sentence.
hard to
no,
Okay.
period.
Yeah, see, the
No,
boundaries,
it's
right?
You gotta learn
I had to learn
those
those
boundaries.
boundaries. Now it's not hard for me to say
No.
no, but before, those boundaries, I had to.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta
no, and
learn
stick
to
to
say
them.
no
Because
because
the
there's a
boundaries
lot
are
of
both.
takers.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Yes.
takers in this world.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have learned over the years to say no. I have learned to say, and even with the podcast, I don't know why I said yes this time.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
you.
We
My husband was like, "You say yes." But I'm so glad I said yes. This was very empowering. This very motivational. I met some amazing women, and that's it.
We're meant to connect and move forward
Yeah.
and do bigger things with each other. Yes, I thank you. Thank you very much for being here, giving us the opportunity to speak about your story and tell us your story.
Yes, Strength in Silence is about empowering one another. It is about how we cope with our silence is what makes us strong. It is about the things that we do to move out of the trauma and to put ourselves in the spaces where we can meet other people that are like-minded. So we don't have to remain silent, or you may want to choose to sit in that, right? And allow someone else to bring it forth for you. I just want to thank each one of you for speaking into me, for seeing your reflections in me that you said yes and didn't know a damn thing about us. I know you probably didn't watch Now podcast, none of that.
I watched the video you said.
Homework.
But the point is, the energy Angie said, it's safe here.
Yeah.
And that is what the whole premise of this is, strength in silence. We are a collective. We're no longer being silent. We are helping those voices get out to see that you can live beyond what happened to you.
Yes.
We are not what we've been through. We don't
Yes.
look like what we've been through.
Right.
And each one of us are out here in the world helping somebody else. So thank each one of you for reflecting back to me. Love wins in the end. That's it. That's the energy that brought us together today. I appreciate you for being obedient. Thank you
Thank you, ladies.
for joining us.
Share, subscribe,
Like,
people.
share, subscribe, share it with a friend. Somebody needs to know this. Somebody needs to hear this. If you need some resources, reach out, tap in. We will put you in place with some and plug you into the right people. But come back again on Sundays with us, and we will try and do our best to show a good model for you and how you work in your healing.
Yes.
Clock it.
See you later. Never bye. See you later.
See you later. Elijah forever. We do. See you later, because that's until the next time. Hasta luego.
This was part of the healing.
Mm.
Healing be heavy after, it be heavy.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, you
Take
sit
a nice long
and-
nap.
Yeah, you be
Yes.
Right
you
now.
sit and it's like you drain.
Yeah, take you a quick shower.